Okay, and we are live. This week I welcome Gregorius Mavs to my YouTube channel, another YouTuber. Hey, do you actually want to just shortly? I will have a few questions for you. I'm looking forward to this conversation. We have not talked for a while, right?
Yeah.
So if you could, in a few paragraphs, summarize who you are, what you do, and where you're at.
Um. Yeah. I'm Gregorius Mats, as most people know me. I I'm currently a first year undergraduate at Cambridge, studying maths, and yeah, I've had a YouTube channel for 6 years now. I started it Christmas 2019, when I was 13 years old, so quite a while ago, and yeah, I mean, on my channel, I just sort of I cover like whatever I find interesting. I sort of use it half as a way of teaching other people and half as a way of teaching myself, sort of
Mhm.
thing. So that could range like from anything from like calculus to like homological algebra, like anything I find interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you are 19 now.
Yeah.
19, yeah. I mean, I remember, like, I think it was in the later COVID times when you probably was you or some friends of you invited like a bunch of people from one math Discord to the other. That's where I first saw the channel,
Hmm.
and you had at the time already like posted 1-2 years of math content. Of course, there is this. I love this Christmas video. Please
Oh
never put
yeah.
it down, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like this you were 14 and you're stuttering sort of and hyper
Yeah.
motivated a math
Yeah.
channel. And for the viewers, you are young, but you have been like uploading videos on the RAM cohomology already with like 15 or 16, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, um, yeah. 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 That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you step through the through various subjects, but I mean, suffice to say, even in my history, I have like at one point taught Python to young people, like one. I remember in particular one 12-year-old that I taught Python, that who like picked things up much more like solidly than other people who I explained how to use Python to, like at 21. Like I also like taught some girls how to do some Python when
Mhm.
they started this or that university. And it's interesting that in my experience, I don't even see like much of a difference. If there's a little bit of an ambition, then people like just pick it up. Maybe programming and math is amenable to that. Maybe it doesn't really like there's not really some sort of maturity that adds to your character as you go from 13 to 17 that helps you with math. I don't know. What is your take on that, actually?
Um, yeah. I mean, I think. I mean, there's definitely people that will sort of pick up stuff like mathematical things quicker than others, but I think anyone who spends a lot of time like genuinely curious or interested in maths will start to, you know, pick things up, will start to spot patterns quicker, or will be able to think more abstractly about stuff. I definitely think, yeah, I think maths kind of has bad PR, so to speak. Like
Mm.
if you're
Uh,
bad at maths, it's
so
not like
so
a bad
what
thing.
is Yeah, so what is the part that actually like drew you to it? Like, I mean, I have not watched all the videos on your channel, but I
Mm.
remember like there's this Christmas video. There's like one video where you talk about, I think, gamma of 1/2, like the square root
Oh
of
yeah,
pi or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that this is for some reason memorable. That I remember the RAM cohomology video, and then I remember also like you had like some professors on who gave a talk, and then you talked something about it was more in the abstract algebra domain, I think.
Um, yeah. I mean, So I guess I can talk about what first got me interested. I mean, in primary school, so like I don't know, from I don't know up until the age of like 11 or whatever. I was always like one of the best in the class at maths. Like I could do my times tables quickly and like I could add big numbers or whatever. So like it was sort of like maths was sort of like my thing, I guess. But I never like did anything like any of it outside of school. Like I wasn't really interested in it at all outside of.
I mean, you were 11. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I guess like the first like instance of doing something like outside of class would probably be when I was in year 7, so I was like 11 or 12, and the teacher was handing out an algebra worksheet, and on the back there was some like quadratic equations, and the teacher told us like, oh, don't do those, like, you know, that's too advanced, you'll learn that in a couple of years. So I don't know, I just felt curious, so like I went home and I think I asked my dad like, how would you solve this, and he knew how to solve it, and I don't know, that was like the first instance of being interested in maths like outside.
Nonetheless, there are like subjects which are more of interest to you at the moment, right, than others.
Yeah.
Say, and if so, what is that?
Yeah, right now I guess I'm quite into I quite enjoy like homological algebra at the moment. I quite enjoy I quite enjoy just like I'm not sure how much I enjoy category theory just for the sake of doing it, but I end up enjoying like these quite like abstract, nonsensical sort of fields of maths. I do want to. One of my plans in 2026 is to learn about topos theory. I wanna see how it connects to logic, and also I guess the geometric side of things as well.
Well, I mean, I have to say that I have a few videos on exactly that on my I have like 4 topos theory or 4 or 5 topos theory videos which have a very strong set theory emphasis. So I explain sort of how set theory is mimicked, modeled in topos theory. So it talks about the element operation, to what extent you get it in categories, and some of the differences, how that interplays with the separation axiom and this kind of thing. So for my viewers and also for you, I don't know how deep you are already into it, check that out. I got into that through initially the NLab, because there are some explanations there, and then I mean, this was when I was doing my PhD. I got this book, Sheaves, something Sheaves. Like it's
geometry and logic.
Yes, exactly, that one. I found that like on the one hand, it presumes that you have some knowledge in certain geometric math topics that I didn't have. And so I didn't get too much out of the examples there. But it has some parts about intuitionistic logic and these kind of things. And then there's another book which is just called Topoi by Goldblatt, which is about logic, which I found quite good. It's kind of weird because it takes like 80 pages just to get to like functors, which is curious. It introduces those things. But the first 200 pages are quite readable, and it talks about the kind of logic connection. Then it gets quite hard. Like then there's like a step function where it's a lot harder. It's one of those books. But like I don't know how deep you are into that, but that might be my recommendation maybe for the rest of the holidays. And so to bridge that, what was then though your evolution? Sort of you were like doing fairly advanced math already, like with 15. Like you did math which you learn with like 22 and 15. You were making some, you learn things, you put them out on YouTube as you learned them, right?
Yeah.
And then, so how did your interest develop? And what eventually got you now into a prestigious university? Like, what?
Yeah.
I guess you had your ambition early on, and you managed to get all the grades. And tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I can't really quite recall at the very beginning what took me from sort of like just learning about the quadratic formula to calculus, but I quite quickly started seeing like calculus videos on YouTube, like Black Pen, Red Pen, Dr. Pi.
I never watched that, but I know it exists.
Flammable Maths, those types of channels. So I spent quite a while, maybe like at like 12, 13, that type of age, just watching loads of these like calculus videos, loads of these like I think at that point I'd also discovered 3 Blue 1 Brown as well, so I was probably watching some of his videos and stuff. This is before the COVID lockdown hit, and eventually I came across a Black Pen Red Pen video where he was talking about like I to the power of I, or like square root of I, or one of these things.
Yeah.
And he was collaborating with another guy called Formatica.
But is this not a guy? Well, that rings a bell. Is he on Discord as well?
He might be. Yeah. He was back in the day. Yeah. And
there's some math Discord channels lore.
Yeah. And so, okay, I was curious, like, who is this guy? I've never seen this guy. So I click on his channel, and most of his videos, he has some calculus videos or like other stuff, but most of his videos were more advanced, like intro to topology, like measure theory, number theory, like all these things I had no idea, like I didn't even know these things existed. And I remember I was watching his like very first video on topology, topology 1.1. I think he was talking about like open sets or like continuity or something like that. And I remember he was using these like the like notation for like there exists. He wouldn't write the words there exists. He would use like the backwards E and like for all and all that stuff. And like I'd never seen this before, and I thought like, wow, like this is crazy. Like, what is this? Like, what's going on? So so I started watching some of his videos, and then for Christmas that year, I got a book, Intro to Topology by Bert Mendelsohn. It's a small orange book, like 150 pages or something.
Okay, don't know. I think.
It's quite a nice one. My mom actually got that one for me. She just heard the word topology, and I think she just went and got the first thing that came up. And yeah, it was like I mean, if I could turn back time, I wouldn't change that book, because like it doesn't assume that like set theory or anything. Like the first chapter is on like the basics of like union, like De Morgan's laws, like all of these things. So I think that was like the first book that I read. That was like probably like the first maths book that I'd ever read. And I guess from there, like once I was in like the rabbit hole, like I just like went deeper and deeper, sort of. Once you start topology, and maybe I was missing some prerequisites here or there, or like I start like hearing about different like fields of maths, and like
have you listened to any of these videos that are uploaded in the last month, where I did some interviews?
I was planning on listening to your latest one with K theory.
Yeah, I was thinking about him as well. I mean, this is more in this direction that, I don't know for sure, but I have the feeling that, like, because you were talking about the Ramco homology, this is one of the things I associate with you so early, that you might still be interested in these kind of things. And with him in my interview, or more so even in the interview he did with me, because on his channel there's also one video where I talked with him. I like philosophize a little bit about how to make proper, more higher, harder content math videos and what to do, and the fact that I wrangle with this, I've uploaded a bunch of videos on my channel. Your math videos, you standing in front of a whiteboard. Since I think since the start, I told you always like, please write a little bit more like readable, don't make small. I mean, I just I don't want to put you on like how do you say? I don't want to make I don't want to frame you here, but if you actually want people to watch the videos, then you have to basically make videos that people can actually follow also what's on the whiteboard, or you don't actually use it, because I mean your viewers can comment under this video. I think people like to listen to your rant, but it's you have tiny font on the whiteboard. You do that since 5 years. I don't know why you don't change it. You can also try out. You could try out what I do is just record your screen and have the LaTeX code written there. I mean, I don't know if not everybody would like that, but I would eventually watch some higher math videos of you once you get to your studies, once you talk about your master's thesis or something like that. But then I have to be able to follow also what's on the whiteboard. So this is I'm wagging the finger here. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's also like the first guy, Sean, that I interview here. In the video, reflect a little bit, because we had our a reading club during the COVID times. This was sort of the high season of these communities, and we also were reading topology. I think it was Mancres. Like there, yeah. For better or worse, I was never very close to homology and all this, obscure groups that don't see any use. Like all the group theory I did was almost always in connection with mechanics, so it's always like some relatively low dimensional compact Lie group that I'm usually dealing with. When you want to understand group theory, of course, you have to learn about the symmetric group. There's some discrete groups. Occasionally, when I worked on real life problems, like when I did cryptography stuff, I was dealing with ZN, but I never go to arbitrary, strange topological spaces and look at the homology groups. I should probably also to understand whatever K theory is interested in, but I diverged from that. And so now at uni, tell me a little bit about how it looks. What do you feel entering university? Is it as you expected? How are the other people, and are they viewing math the same way as you? To the extent what is their backgrounds, and how do you feel in this context?
I guess so with Cambridge, I wasn't really sure where I was going to apply for university. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to Cambridge or stay in London or whatever. And eventually I think it was just my friend who was applying for Cambridge, he sort of asked me why not, and I didn't really have a good reason why not. so I sort of realized okay, I should probably apply here. This is it's a nice city, it's the best place in the UK. I'll apply here. And they have a special entry, so you have to do A levels, which is I don't know, the final exams that you do like at the end of high school or whatever. So you have to do those, but for maths at Cambridge, you also have to sit this exam called STEP. And STEP is like it's a 3 hour long papers, and you answer 6 questions per paper. And you know what, they judge your mark. They mark your answers, and you know they give you a final mark. And I wasn't very good at. I actually didn't do very well in this paper.
Sorry for the. I don't really know the language. What do you mean by paper? Is just an exercise?
Exam. Sorry, exam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I was calling it. Anyway, yeah, exam. Yeah, I didn't do too well in this exam. It's you know, it uses like only high school level stuff, but they'll ask you some like really obscure like questions, like they'll make it really annoying and difficult, which I was never that good at, like those like really like annoying like problem solving type questions. But I did just about well enough to get in anyway. And so yeah, since I got here, I've found actually that it's increased or returned me back to how much I was enjoying maths back in sort of lockdown, because I think from the ages of like 16 to 18 maybe, I mean I was still doing some maths. I was, I hadn't completely dropped it, but if you actually look at my channel, you can see like there's like a couple of years where there's like 5 videos per year or something. So yeah, coming back to Cambridge, and like only doing maths again sort of got me in the mindset so that now like I really enjoy it again. And so that's been good. What are the people like? I think so. Cambridge is split up into different colleges. So your college is sort of where you live within Cambridge. And certain colleges are sort of you do the same course no matter what college you're in, but certain colleges are sort of more renowned for maths than others. So like there's a Trinity College where like Ramanujan, like Newton, and I'm at a college called St. Catherine's, which I don't really know what its reputation is like for maths. I think it's sort of average by Cambridge standards at least. And so there's 9 people doing maths in my college, first years, including myself.
Oh wow, this like a packaged in a small part. So I do not know the UK university structure, but I don't think that in Vienna you have this situation where you have one university, but then different colleges which do it. Here it's just an environment. It's just one university, and you have one math department, and everybody's there, and it's definitely like hundreds of students.
Yeah.
So that's a different setup there.
Yeah.
And, sorry, I want to say that. So I mean, I'm subscribed to you, and I see my feed when videos pop up, and I surely noticed that there are like were times when you like had more uploads and less, and also like even in my case, I mean, over the last years I have more or less steadily like I had always like one video per 2 or 3 months at least, but I also have this route, because it's also a question, why do you even make videos in the first place? And I ask myself that what do I want to achieve with this? I know that I want to like meet people over it. I want to meet people who are better in certain fields than me. But we can after the university talk, we have a few questions as well. I would like to get back to why even do the videos? How do you like? Why do you even continue? What are your goals are? But before we get there, so you got to this college, and this just happened this semester? So you are like here for 4 months now, or what's the situation?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I should say that Cambridge and Oxford aren't really the best representation for the typical UK university is, because they're like really old and they do things sort of old-fashioned way. For example, the college system isn't really like most UK universities will be similar to what you're saying.
Okay.
But yeah, so the Cambridge terms are 8 weeks long, so they're like really short. So yeah, I've just had my first term, or I guess semester, whatever you want to call it.
And
Yeah,
there's like how many per year?
three.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
split in three, so it's really like opaque
yeah,
compared to
yeah,
what
yeah.
other people do. Okay, I see. Yeah, but why not? Okay.
And yeah, so I guess what are the people like? Well, I think in terms of their mathematical interests or like just interests in general, the people in my college, at least the mathematicians in my college, they seem in general to be more interested in the applied side of things. There's a couple of guys who want to go into finance, which I think, you know, any university that offers maths will have a bunch of people that want to just go straight into finance afterwards and make a bunch of money. But yeah, I'm not sure if they're, I mean, the people themselves are all, from my experience, they've all been very nice. You know, I haven't really had to deal with any sort of horror stories about like this like snooty, pretentious Cambridge snobs, like,
I
you know,
see.
looking
Okay.
down on me. And yeah, so I mean, I've enjoyed the first term, because the terms are so short that they can be quite intense with the workload.
Yes, but so like, you know, when I went to university, surely most people, not everybody, but most people did not have like really an academic background, didn't know math before. You have done like, you know, you have known a Taylor series since 5 years, right?
Yeah.
More or less. And so you feel you have in this regard a head start on other people there, or how is it?
In some senses, yes. In other ways, I think sort of my sort of interest in maths and like the sort of university style mathematics in general, I think will, as I progress in my degree, will be more sort of apparent. I think in first year, because I mean, most Cambridge, I mean, there'll be a lot of Cambridge first year mathematicians who, somewhat similarly to myself, were just really interested in like pure maths outside.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then there are going to be like, I think probably I would say the majority of people doing maths at Cambridge will be like really good at the Olympiad style maths. For example, I mean, I think there are a few like even IMO people in my year type of thing, which for some courses in the first year at least, and maybe go further on as well, sort of being good at Olympiad. So I mean, probably the best example of this would be the course, the module Numbers and Sets, which we do this year, which is a lot of like modular arithmetic, stuff about primes, that like basic stuff like that, induction, those types of things, where like in order to make the questions like difficult, because the content itself is quite easily understandable, it sort of favors like the Olympiad style kids. But then with a course like groups, where like I've seen most of the stuff before, and lots of the difficulty is in just understanding what's happening, but I've seen like most of the stuff before. That's what I think, you know, I think I have a little bit of a head start.
I see. Yeah, okay. I can see that this is a little bit of a split. And this exam that you spoke before, this is also then more in this Olympiad kind of,
Yes,
nasty
more
calculation
similar.
problem.
Yeah. I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. I never got friendly with this sort of number theory, IMU style mathematics, and I to be honest, I never really saw the appeal. I'm not a competitive person. I don't really enjoy I don't even enjoy doing push-ups against other people. These kind of things I never did, and I don't like who is better at calculating these things. I mean, maybe it's cope because I'm just not good at it, but I also genuinely don't see the point. I rather understand Galilean group cohomology and get a better idea of mechanics and general relativity than knowing trick 17 of some number theory kind of thing. So I see. So you also compared to other people don't have so much an advantage because you're zoomed in on all the autistic homology books.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I see. But okay, but I am fairly confident as long as you are not lazy, and there will be times when you have to learn something which you don't enjoy as much, but then you just have to plow through and take time and study for these exams. You pick up some things you learn and you might not need later anymore, but nonetheless, if you learn, then that will not be a blocker for you. Regarding this Cambridge and also Harvard videos and so on, there is this sort of genre sometimes on YouTube where you have some girly girls who have nice handwriting, who are oh, this is my my dorm room at Cambridge or whatever, and then you see them. Usually they are in these tiny dorm rooms and so on, but it's very cozy, and they show the trees. And I think people know these Cambridge videos where you have the yard and here's where Ramanujan walked or something or Newton or these kind of things. So this is sort of the cliche thing I have in my head. I was visiting a friend in Ireland in the summer this summer, and I was in Belfast and Dublin, and whenever I travel somewhere, I always look at the universities. I try to get into the libraries and get a feel for that. So this is my association. I have been in London a couple of times before, but I should at one point travel around and also see these Stonewall universities.
Yeah.
May I ask you, do you think, I was just here, I'm here with my coffee, and I was just in a coffee shop and thinking, okay, what should I ask you? You're by far the youngest person that I interview so far, and will probably in the foreseeable future. And I asked my barista, hey, what should I ask this Zoomer guy? You're actually a Zoomer, not Alpha guy, right? Where does Alpha start?
What do you mean?
Generation Alpha.
Yeah.
Are you even a Zoomer anymore? Or are you already a Generation Alpha? I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'm sort of on the border between Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I don't know. Yeah. I mean 2006. I think that's still Gen Z. I think.
I think so. Yeah. And I was asking my barista. So what should I ask? And he just said, ask what interests you. What interests me is actually, do you feel that, and the problem is you don't have a reference point from how it was in the past, but do you think that university is different in some regards nowadays than it was maybe in the 80s? Apart from the thing that I experienced myself, where the internet came and so on, but I wonder, in the last 7 years, let's say, was there another shift? Did people change? Did the use of the internet tools drastically impact how things are taught? Because the subjects are still more or less the same in math. They are they don't really go with the times, quotes and quotes. I don't think you have any what's hyped lean theory prover, these kind of things. It's not So I think the subjects as they are taught are the same as they were in the probably they had group theory already in the 60s, right? As a subject early
probably.
on.
Yeah.
Probably. And so I wonder, like, do you have the feeling that something is different? Do you reflect on that?
I mean, I guess probably in the last maybe 5 years or so, probably like the two things that would affect or like change my university experience from if I went in 2018 or whatever would probably be I'm not a psychologist, I don't know much, but I'm sure that the COVID lockdown and everyone that I go to university with now from the ages of like I don't know 12 to 14 say had very limited sort of social interactions with other people because they were stuck at home. That's probably affected like somewhat like what the social scene is or like how people interact with each other, as opposed, well, obviously I don't know what it was like in the mid 2010s, but it might be a bit different. And I think probably one that's more like easy or concrete to see would be like the rise of AI as well.
Yeah, I talked a lot about that in my last interviews, actually.
Yeah, like the fact that, I mean, if I have a problem sheet that I have to do, I mean, now I can, if I really wanted to just cheat, I could put like pretty much every question to ChatGPT, and at least for first year content, I don't know how high it can go up, but for my sheets, it can definitely solve all the questions. So like,
I think it will actually grow with you. You get in the next semester. Next semester, but GPT will also get stronger a little bit. You have to have the discipline to I talked about this with K-Fury and also with Sean, that you have to you want to use it because you will use it all the rest of your life because it will not go away, for better or worse. But you also have to need to have the discipline of underusing or using it in the right way, that you actually also learn, right? So because if you just use that, like this is a balance that everybody has to figure out how to draw, and I have to do it myself. So if I shortly may here intersect, at the moment I'm working on a statistics project where I've downloaded Wikipedia, and I plan on making some cool websites that has to do with transformers, and I will do a statistical analysis. I have literally downloaded like 10,000 of Wikipedia pages, and I check out which subjects do they belong to, and there's a cool video coming up in the next months. And I got into statistics in the last months, and there's this programming language R. Do you know it? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of R. Yeah.
It's a little bit like MATLAB, and it's a little bit on the older side. If you do Python, I don't know to what extent you code. We can talk about this. That it's a little bit like people try to mimic it with pandas in Python. So people who know Python might know pandas, and it's a little bit like this. And the thing is, I'm doing at the moment an analysis of these gigabytes of text data, and I do. I have like my IDE, and I use R to make these nice plots and tables, but I have not typed. I don't know R. I have not typed a single thing in R. I can read it. Once it's there, you can say, "Oh, here it does a regression. Oh, here it does. It filters out this and this." But I wouldn't know it myself. I have never used it before, and I'm heavily vibe coding when it comes to R, when it comes to the statistical analysis. And it's fantastic. It types, "Oh, please make this scatter plot red and not green," and also make a second regression line where you only take data till 2000, which has been edited to this and this date. But the problem is, I'm not learning R this way. I'm just using it, and I'm like, okay, but do I want to learn R if these things can do it? And it's similar with math. And then, as you say, there might be people who are going at it for finance. And I know also like people like this. I have like at the moment I'm listening to courses in the math department myself, and there's like one convex analysis course that I sit in, and there's the main guy who's like a smart dude who teaches it, and he, like, to my surprise, he was also saying, "Yeah, actually, I'm working in finance. I studied math, but I'm actually now working in finance. He's like an academic, but he's like teaching like abstract math. It's like fairly like a very abstract approach to convex sets, like more abstract than this book that I have here. It's like a famous convex.
I've seen that book before. Yeah.
So this is by Boyd. By the way, Sean, actually, I talked with him this morning. He showed me that Boyd, who wrote this convex optimization book, has some videos online, actually. So he has some videos, or they were made of him, and he's like a funny guy. I can recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, but in any case, so it begs then the question: why do we even do math? Do we want to learn math? Are we the applied people, like the people who go into finance and actually want to do like be like mathematically adjusted managers? Should they even try to learn all these things in detail? But then there's people like who have a real fascination with the things, maybe more so than others. They might not want to cheat in this way at all. So this is like it's a fascinating topic. I come back to it. So do you think you're approaching it the right thing? Do you use ChatGPT to like in an interactive way where do you tell it, don't tell me the answer right away, but give me a hint, blah blah? I know people do that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like if I see something like really vague on a Wikipedia page or in a PDF or something, where like they make a statement about something that sounds interesting, but they don't elaborate on it. I sometimes ask ChatGPT like, what did he mean when he said this? Like, can you like tell me like in more detail? So which can sometimes be really helpful. But in terms of my actual work, like the problem sheets that I have to do for university, I mean, I try and do the questions myself, and I go in two stages with the ones that I don't. I'll ask like when I say I don't know, I mean like I've either spent hours and like I've made and like with an idea that I thought would work and it just like isn't working, or I stare at this question for like an hour and like no ideas pop to my mind or anything. Then I might ask ChatGPT like, can you give me a hint? Like, don't tell me the answer.
Okay.
And
that's very disciplined, if that's actually true.
I mean, and then I mean, I think about the hint. I work with the hint, and if I still don't know the answer, then I'll just say, just like tell me the answer. At this point, just tell me, like, because I think sometimes like it's really good to like work on problems like for your understanding or whatever, but sometimes I feel it gets to a point where like when you're clearly not making any progress, and like if I've already had the hint that like sometimes
and I mean also with university, like you are you have several subjects, you're tasked with a lot of things and you have to get them done by some point.
Exactly.
And then like the more workload there is, the more eager you feel like, okay, I know I have this other thing to get done, so let's just do it with the machine now. It's interesting. It's funny that we do this on the 31st of December. This was like accidental. I just said, let's do it next Wednesday or so. Then I realized, it's the last day. Actually, maybe we should actually go back in a year and do like, this is like at the start of a tradition here. We do like a checkup of you. How does your university progress? So maybe remind me. Maybe in a year we can do something like that again, and then I will listen back to this conversation and ask you the same thing. So maybe actually, given this idea, like where will you be in a year? Do you have like any New Year's resolution in like an academic sense, or maybe even in a broader sense?
I guess it's like half. I guess it's like half academic, half personal. Which is probably my main resolution for the new year would be to like upload videos consistently. I do want to because I did this advent calendar thing. I don't know if you saw. You probably saw some of the videos where I started it late because I only thought of the idea after the 1st of December. I started on like the 7th or something, and like apart from like 2 days where I was really busy, I uploaded one video a day from the 7th to the 24th, and I found like as I was doing it, it wasn't even that stressful. Like I thought like, okay, like this might just be too difficult. Like I can't think of that many ideas. But when like I just sat down and like said to myself, okay, like think of an idea, like let's like scroll through like some like Wikipedia pages, like see like it wasn't actually that hard to generate video ideas, and like I was sort of learning new things, like just little gems here and there that were quite interesting.
These were shorts, or were it shorts, or were these videos on your like
these were
videos?
There was one video that was like half an hour, but in general they were like 10, 15, or like 5 to 15 minute videos.
I mean, I'm subscribed to you, but I definitely didn't see 20 videos showing up in my feed. But okay, the YouTube feed is also kind of
yeah. Some of them are, but but I found that like when I was doing this, like I was really enjoying myself. So in 2026, I guess my main resolution is to sort of keep up somewhat of a consistent schedule.
Okay, but I think you like for me to actually like check back on you in a year, you have to like be a little bit more concrete. Like, do you say like uploading every week one video, or like
something like this? Yeah.
If you want, you can you don't have to concretize it now, but if you want to have an accountable and in my here condescending tone, in the way I usually talk to people, like wagging my finger, I will talk to you in this same way if you don't manage to achieve your own goal. But if you do, I will praise you. You will say, wow, yeah. So you have here a preview of both of these ways I will react. So I mean, I'm thinking about it because I have the feeling like I'm okay with my uploads. I had this idea of doing this sort of interviews before. I can actually not tell to how interesting it is to my viewers, because it's so off the cuff, right? I mean, I have some vague ideas what I want to ask. I have a small list on my side here of questions I can ask, but I don't know if these videos, like they're 2 hours long. I enjoy them, but they drag on so long. I don't know if they're like good for my viewers, but if I get people on, I will continue to do so. I don't have any other people after you in my roster, so if there's any people who would like to come on, I like try not to forget to call out, hey guys, write in the comments if you want to come on. If you also know some people to come on, let them know. I would like to have more like advanced people on, mostly. I mean, to your credit, I think you are sort of advanced in the sense that I have known that you make YouTube videos since 5 years on topics which in part I am not strong in. Like I know of modular arithmetic, but I could not tell you the Chinese remainder theorem off the top of my head. I know it mostly because it's important for Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Like there's some arithmetic tricks there, but I never learned it in any course in my physics study. And I have certainly read it in 2 or 3 books, but it didn't stick. So there's things that I love it to talk to people who know some things that I don't, and then this can drag on. So in any case, so my video production is good, I think, and I have like 20 scripts which I started to make videos. I often I often like create the outlay of a video, and then I never get to make it because I have another idea, or it would be too tedious to actually make a proper script out of it. So this is not too bad, but as I do here with you, I try to turn the YouTube community into something more coherent, where there's actually like a cohort of people who know each other and who also like have some. There's some like the tentacles spread out, and newer younger people, like yourself 5 years ago, get to know a little bit more about like how did people talk with each other, how they think. And I'm not particularly like in math academia in particular, so like specifically I'm more like have my hands in a little bit in physics, a little bit in chemistry, a little bit in machine learning, a little bit in computer science, and in math. But I enjoy this sort of actually culture which I thought lacked. There's like people, you named some of them, I don't know, 3 blue, 1 brown, and sometimes they do like one-on-one collaborations, but they are not like they don't have this like hand-to-hand normal conversations. They're all these formal interviews, and I want to make it like super casual. I want to have people shit post on my videos, so to speak, like be like chill. And I try to continue this more, and that's why I try to invite people, but it's actually not too easy. I sometimes I ask people, and they're like I have some friends, like real life friends, and they are like, no, I'm scared. I don't want to. Like, I would not be prepared to talk. And I'm like, no, that doesn't matter. Like, this is just off the cuff talking. Don't be scared. People would like to like get a vibe of what it is to be you. And so, yeah. Okay, sorry for the rant. I also always try not to talk myself too much. I let the people talk, but this is like the act of curation, and I would also like feedback, like what do you think about these kind of things. And just to wrap this up, I have one resolution. I want to improve my dead hang, like just hanging from the bar.
Yeah.
Like this is like a physical thing. It's not academic. I will start it tomorrow. I might see if I can like record myself hanging. And see how that. It will not be on my here on my main channel, but this is one thing I will do. So
do you have any goals for like what like how long you want to be able to hang for or something by the end of the year?
So I think it's a good question. I have not thought about it too much because it has been a while since I even tried. Like it has been a few years since I actually like I have a bar here right next to me where I could hang and where I can do a recording and I can check, but I don't remember what my time was. I'm overweight by like 10 kilos since many years now. Like I'm a little bit like I'm around 90 or so now, and I was like in my fit times just over 70 or so. I can easily lose 10 kilos, and then it will be much easier as well.
Yeah, of course.
And so I don't actually know what my time is now. That's a problem with the improvement question. I think I'm not even. I don't know if I'm. Like I can only guess. I'm not sure if I can hang like a minute now. I don't know. I asked my barista. You know this. I talk a lot with my baristas. And there's like a guy who is like really into training. He's like fit and he's like big and strong. And he said he can hang 4 minutes, and that sounded like a lot to me.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's long.
Yeah, because it's it's not even a strength thing, but it just becomes so uncomfortable in the fingers.
Yeah. 4 minutes is a really long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what my time is. But let's say I like on the calf, I would say I try to double whatever my time would be in the first day.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So please in a year, also ask me how did I fare. I choose that because I was like, for one, I want to get my pull-ups back. Like, I think in my best days I could do like 16, 17 pull-ups, something like that.
Oh wow, yeah.
And this is a related skill, right? Hanging and doing pull-ups.
Of course.
You have several similar muscles involved. And so I was like, this is something I can do every morning. It takes like under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like a good resolution. Yeah. So small divergence. And also, like, I started this year to get a lot of plants. I actually have much more. Like, I only had like one big plant in my apartment for the longest time, which is still alive, like after many years. And now, I was always like fascinated with like I love photosynthesis. I have like some book here on like biology, and I was like, hey, since I'm already like, I thought this already like 5 years ago, I could like grow plants and take data and make like plots and do a statistical analysis of that for my channel. And so I asked this year my family and so on, hey, if you want to gift me anything for Christmas or for my birthday, just give me plants. And they did it. I have like a lot of plants now. I have like 6 plants, big and small. And like with plants and with like physical activity, I want to like actually take data and then make some plots and this kind of things.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah. So for example, I have like a time series of my weight that I started in 2011, and especially from 2011 to 2016 or so, it's like at least once per week. So like I have a sparse time series, and I love the fact that I have this data. I can look back and so on and so forth. There's like a lot of things where I would love to have like in this information, like weight or how far you can run, how fast you can run, how high your hair is receding or something like that. I would like have data on this and like track it and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so but at the moment then are you just doing the math that you have to learn, or are there fields you go beyond that, or like how's your time management, how does that look?
I think while I was in Cambridge, so during my first term, I was like, I'd say like 80 to 90% of the maths I was doing was probably just like what I had to be doing. I think part of the reason for that was because it was all like new to me, like, you know, living alone-ish, or well, without my parents at least. You know, I just like everything was just sort of different. You know, actually doing the problem sheets, like the problem sheets themselves take quite a long time. And so yeah, just like first term, you know, just sort of adjusting to everything. You know, I like, yeah, I'd say 80 to 90% was just what I had to be doing. With like, I mean, there was, I'd say most of like during my time at Cambridge, or during my first term, I'd say most of the maths that I was doing, like that I didn't need to be doing, was like I would see something in like what I had to be doing, like in like my groups course or whatever, and like I would sort of think like, wait, I would think maybe like this relates to something like this, like more advanced, and like I would like give it a quick search, and like it would turn out that that's true, and like I would look into it a little bit.
This is also one of the applications that where like something like ChatGPT helps, where you cannot ask a book for related concepts, but you can ask the computer, hey, is this related to something in ring theory? Is this related to like where is this used in physics? This is like an amazing application of this, like this connecting it to other things, or you know, is there like a stronger version of that, and getting the stronger theorem, and what do I need to understand to get the stronger theorem? This is really cool. Part of my Wikipedia effort is actually to try to find such connections. I have to, like, from an information theoretic point, I have to work out how to do it. But I would like to have this sort of association machine more tuned to mathematics than just out of the box ChatGPT that we have access to. But so is it then also that if you plan to make videos, will you be drawing from the thing that you learn, or because so just from my personal taste, I always like to hear like more advanced things. And you know, I don't want to like discourage you at all, but I'm personally not as interested in things that are already happening in an undergrad or introductory book, right? I'm like, this is cool that people make videos and talk with other people about it, but for all these topics, you can be sure they are already on YouTube. And whenever I make a video, I make a video on a topic, let's say a mechanics topic, like some simulation of some constrained situation, like a pendulum, whatever, or so on and so forth. And I always check like what is there on YouTube, who has talked about spinors, and I try to see, well, is this information there? Like, I want to actually make things that are new in the sense that I actually provide value and not copying somebody else. And if you do like introductory group video, you can make it and you can be like enthusiastic about it. And again, I don't want to discourage you or anybody for making these videos, but the added value is sadly a little bit small. If you're just,
Yeah.
I learned this is interesting. You probably do not improve on the other 20 videos that are already there.
Yeah, I mean, I do I actually do a similar thing. When I first have a video idea, I normally look it up on YouTube as well, because I agree that like I don't want to just be putting out what's like already there, because like what's the point, sort of type of thing. And yeah, I mean, like for example, last term, like the way that I sort of spin it is, last term I was looking at group theory, and somehow I got reminded that like a group is just a groupoid with one object, and so like I started sort of like playing around with that. So like for example, we learned like Cayley's theorem, and like it turns out that if you apply the Yoneda lemma to like just a groupoid with one object, you can sort of like Cayley's theorem sort of also falls out. Or like things like this, like where, you know, it is sort of inspired by what I'm doing, but I try and put like something new, like some sort of a new spin on it. But yeah, I mean, I have a couple of ideas that, I mean, are sort of different. I want to maybe do a series on mathematics, sort of. I don't know. I haven't looked into how much of this is already on YouTube, but I think it would be interesting to have a series like mathematics around the world, where like I go country by country, like what was their contributions to mathematics.
Okay.
And like which, because I recently I got this book, because the history of mathematics has always been somewhat interesting to me. I never looked deeply into it, but now I have this book which hopefully will get me kickstarted. Number theory and geometry throughout history. Which I plan to make maybe like my nighttimely reading or something.
And this is more in like pre-18th century mathematics.
Yeah, although some of it seems to, from what I see so far.
Because I mean, you know what? Because I'm asking, because if you include it, then it will always be like, oh, Germany did this, Switzerland did this. So and you know you have then the UK, Germany, and then France comes in, and you know maybe Italy for the geometers. But if you say around the world, I'm afraid there's like certain time where it's just Europe.
Yeah. I mean,
and if you go earlier, of course, you have like there's a lot, like it's crazy how much like in the Persian and the Arabic and like below Turkey and all these kind of things. There was a lot of these things happening, and I also like only have like I'm interested in this thing as well, and people on the channel know this. But my knowledge of who did what when about math in the 14th century or so is very sparse. Like I only have like a very vague understanding, and then eventually you have the mid 19th century. I always draw the line with like Weierstrass and Kummer, where you have these specialized number theories, these specialized analysis, and then you're already in the modern era, and everything happens there, and then this World War and everything then happens in the US after that. And for some reason, the Frenchies are extremely good with algebraic geometry and these kind of things. I don't fully understand if it's just the lycée or the educational system. I mean, you can do that. I did some videos where I talk about individual mathematicians. So I have like there's a guy called Van der Werden. I don't know if you heard of him.
I think I might. It sort of rings a bell. Yeah,
he has some theorems named after him. It was like roughly, I think, 120 years ago, and he had like a famous algebra book. Oh, I have a recommendation. I'm sure I gave this recommendation once or twice on my channel, but there's a book called, you should write this down, or like if you re-listen to this video, it's called Modern Algebra and the Rise of Algebraic Structure, by a guy named Corey, and he did it as I think his PhD. It's like his historian. That's a book I read 10 years ago on the history of algebra, and it's a really good book. I tend to recommend that a lot. It's called Modern Algebra and the Rise of Mathematical Structure. Modern Algebra is actually the name of the Van der Waerden book. And I got really interested in that, and then I read a biography of Van der Waerden or like a math biography, and I have a video on it. On my channel, I sometimes unlist videos, and then you can only find them in the playlists. They are still there in the playlists, but they are not on the main thing. So I have some videos on the history of quantum mechanics and stuff like that. But exactly in the same fashion that you talk about, like you read something, you read up history, and then you just report of it. And because because history is not as open out there in some cases than basic group theory, you actually have the chance of teaching something that people actually never heard about. That's fantastic. Yeah. So I encourage that. And again, this is just my liking. I'm not saying people should follow, should just do what I like to listen to, but this is just some feedback there. And if you go into the groupoid thing and all these ways of looking at things, read up on Topos theory, and you can make some videos about it, and then you can watch. I don't know if it's good to watch my videos first or later. My 40-minute videos. They have a very logic-minded, set theory-minded spin, because I'm interested in foundations as well. I'm more interested in foundations than I am in group theory proper. Maybe that helps, or maybe you reflect as an afterthought, and then you can give me a shout out in your videos. With the Lever Fixed theory. I remember you made a video about that, and then I commented, "Hey, I have."
I didn't realize.
Okay. So I talked a little bit. Whenever I say something, you feel free to reflect on what I said if you have any input, right? Otherwise, I will just go on with my questioning. I don't know. Okay. Then, so actually, are you from London proper?
Yes, I am. Born and raised.
Born and raised in London. I have been a couple of times in London. And I have there's a lot, sadly, a lot of people I know, especially people who are not from Vienna, but who come to Vienna to do work and do coding and do also some university. Sadly, when these are the people who are not as bound, so they are eager to move on, and then often they go to London. So London kind of sucks up a lot of good people because they are companies where they make more money than they would make in Vienna. And so I know some people there because they escaped the beautiful city of Vienna and went to London. I have not really been around in on that island too much. I would like to see Cambridge, and even Stonehenge, and maybe even Scotland. A 2-week trip or so. And I don't expect I expect a cold weather, and so I'm probably not going to stay there for long. But I would like to see that. And are you would you say are you from a middle class background, or higher or lower, or how do you see yourself, and how does that play into the other people at Cambridge and so on?
I'd say pretty middle class background, no issues with money or whatever, but at the same time, I don't live in some mansion, and I think I don't know. I'd say I haven't really noticed who's from what sort of financial background in Cambridge. Sort of, I know that it has a reputation for attracting a lot of really wealthy people. But I don't know. I haven't really asked that many people. I think certain colleges, I think in general, the wealthier colleges, in terms of how much money the actual college has, tend to attract also wealthier people. And I think St. Catherine's is in the list of like 30 colleges, it's like somewhere mid-table, maybe like in the like
Okay.
low 20s, high teens or something. So like I think my college is like relatively normal. Like I haven't really I haven't really noticed any sort of barriers like where like we're like from like completely different worlds. Like I
I
can't
see.
even, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't know how they developed in the last decades, but apparently there was also some more like egalitarian pushes where
Mm.
uh, there's more and more people going to university, and maybe so it's generally more broad. Maybe I don't know. I don't know like to what extent this elite circles are really still elite, if it's still like skull and bones ish
Yeah.
cohorts where there's only like the rich guys go to in the US. And so I actually don't know how that works. It would interest me if that developed, and it plays into my previous question regarding how things developed and are maybe different today than later.
Oh yeah.
Previously you said through COVID people didn't have social interactions, and do you like experience that as a negative? Would you say, oh, probably in the early 2090s, people would have been more approachable, and now they're like a little bit more like on the autistic side or difficult, and enjoy loneliness more, and that makes it more difficult to get into like social interactions on the uni? I know you do not have the contrast. You don't know like
Mhm.
how university was like 20, 30 years ago, but how do you feel? Do you think it's like it's gotten better or worse for you, or
Um,
how's that?
I don't know. I think for sure, sort of social media in general, like got really like it was already really big, but like even or maybe that's just because I was like growing up. Like when you're a little kid, like social media isn't really a big thing, but I think definitely social media has like gotten a lot bigger. Like and like COVID probably
Yeah,
like majorly like boosted it. And so I guess like I don't know, maybe like um I mean, at the end of the day, like the people are like still people, like it's not a complete change where like everyone's like in their rooms 24/7, but I don't know. I guess like it would be more common for like you to just be out and about with someone and like instead of like I don't know, instead of just having a regular conversation, like one person will be on their phone or whatever, something like this. Like I think that type of thing has probably like increased a lot. Um, but in general, I don't think it's too bad. But again, I don't have like the comparison frame, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, in parts I asked because I also I don't have any data, and
Mhm.
I'm not. I mean, I know several younger students, but I'm not really in the situation. But I would guess, to be honest, that that people are a little bit more closed up nuts now.
Yeah.
Like closed up, the metaphor I draw is like a walnut, where like
Oh
they
yeah.
don't even enjoy as much being. There's this thing where people make the observation that people like people generally dislike clubs now because they were
Mhm.
always annoying in the sense that they were loud and so on.
Yeah.
And you go there and you think, oh, I want to socialize, but then you go there and then you go home and was like next day you think, yeah, this was not actually worth it. I think
Yeah.
this was always a problem. Like clubs are always loud and so on and so forth. But back in the day, people got more out of it because
Mhm.
and this is completely conjecture, but I think it was probably a little bit easier to actually get to know people better who are outside of your own bubble
Yeah.
because they were just more approachable and they were
Yeah.
more eager to engage. And nowadays, this is seen as more awkward. This is like just a conjecture I have that this development is going this direction, in part because, as you say, social media is there. Everybody is on their phones for
Mhm.
hours on end. So yeah, I hope this. If it's true, what I think is true, then I hope
Mhm.
this improves again.
Yeah.
This is like the chatbot question. It will have to be seen how it
Yeah.
evolves. I heard like in Australia they even banned social media for like under 16-year-olds
yeah,
now.
yeah, they did. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure how effectively you can actually ban kids
yeah,
off
that's
the
the thing.
internet, but maybe you
Yeah,
can. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be interesting to see like how successful they are. I mean, like I can see the argument for banning it, but I just don't know how effectively they'll actually be able to implement the ban. Um, yeah, so I guess it'll be interesting to see as like a
Yes,
test
like,
sort of country.
it's good if they make experiments and we can learn from that.
Yeah.
So we spoke a little bit about the history books. Do you have any book recommendations for my viewers actually, or for me actually also? What is your
Um.
like favorite math books in general? Like where do you think books that stand out where like wow, this is different?
I guess. Well, I guess one that's not like technical, just like like just a book, a nice non-fiction book biography. There's a book about Erdos called the Man Who Knew Infinity. I believe that's what it's called. Gosh, it'd be bad if I got that wrong. It's
Yeah,
either yeah. Oh, or The Man Who Loved Numbers. One of those two titles. It's about Erdos. Um,
the
um,
name rings a bell. I think there was even a movie with that name.
there may have been.
Yeah,
The Man Who Loved. Oh no, The Man Who Knew. Oh no, The Man Who Loved Only Numbers. Yeah, that's the one.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I heard of that. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That book is it's a biography of Erdos. I found that to be a very enjoyable read.
Okay.
I don't tend to read that much.
By the way, I think you should not look too far away from the
Oh,
microphone
sorry.
too often.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You talk to the left, and I think
yeah,
because
yeah,
what will happen then is that the audio goes like up and down
yeah, yeah,
in the recording.
yeah. So that was a fun read. What else like really stood out? I think for an introduction to topology, like if you haven't seen topology before, I really enjoyed a book called Essential Topology. I forget who the author is, but it's a yellow book. I'm sure it's the first thing that comes up when you look it up.
Okay, and not to be
that one,
confused with the orange topology book.
yeah, no, not to be confused with that one. Yeah. That one I found really, I don't know, I just found it really like easily digestible. Because I mean, you've read Moncri's. I've only read like small bits and pieces, but I think it's quite. Am I right in saying it's a somewhat dense book?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't fully remember. I was much like we did the Lie group reading group and the topology reading group, and then
Yeah,
some people wanted to do complex analysis. I was
yeah,
mostly into the Lie group book. I still have it here behind me.
yeah,
Um, I thought it was nicely steadily going. So I don't have nothing against the Macros books. But I think I don't know the essential topology, and also since I never went into algebraic topology and these kind of things myself, I my scope in that
yeah,
regard, like standalone books, is not as big. I learned from some books about like connected spaces and these kind of things, but I couldn't give a recommendation, so I'm glad you do.
yeah,
As for like starting versus advanced things, the funny thing is, to be honest, I don't even know what my audience in terms of math level is, because I had
yeah,
talked about cryptography, I've talked about physics. I do some math videos. I
yeah,
like quite a few. Like usually I take a topic, even if it's cryptography, and make a math video out of it. Like I have a
yeah,
video where I describe elliptic curve cryptography. I explain the math of it. For despite this being more like in the Bitcoin direction, and then maybe there's some technically inclined people who see my videos and say, oh, there's somebody who does the proper math for this
yeah,
subject. But
yeah,
my videos are, I don't want to say apply too much, because this is almost an insult.
yeah,
As Halmos said, applied mathematics is bad mathematics. So I'm in my mind, I don't know, I don't know what other people think. I'm not sure if I'm an applied or a theoretical guy somewhere. I like theory, but I do apply it. So I'm betraying myself a little bit. But
yeah,
in any case, so yeah, so I wouldn't know if my audience even needs an introduction to topology,
Yeah.
if they're like higher or if they're so far away. But I'm glad that you give the recommendation. In general, I would like to, because I have a books list in my head, books I really like, and I would like to hear from other people. What are your like influential or well-written books, and what makes good writing? This is one thing. Also, that's always in my mind, like how to actually convey things well, and for what purpose.
Yeah.
Even why do you even write? Do you want to write encyclopedic?
Yeah.
And what is the future way of collecting math when maybe things are more like automized in theorem provers, and like how will this develop? This is also fascinating topics.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that book, yeah, it's a nice, it's sort of I guess it wasn't my first exposure because I had this small orange book as well. But like it really it was really it was really easy to digest somehow. Like they didn't put too much information. Like I mean, I guess it's in the name, essential topology. They tell you about like what you need to know. They give you some nice examples, nice illustrations, that type of thing. And they don't waffle on too much either. Like it's nice and concise as well, which I don't know, I find to be quite
and do you already have a topology courses now or coming up?
I think
year stuff.
Year 2, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess me reading that book will come in handy next year. And then I guess for algebraic topology, the standard reference seems to be Hatcher. I don't know if you've heard of this book.
I have read into it. To be honest, I don't like it much. If I remember it correctly, it is not as, it does not read like a Springer book in the sense that you have like a quick alternation of theorem, lemma, definition. I know there's definition sections. I know there's some nice pictures there. Even sort of famous people copy them and screenshot them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it is the subject matter, but I did not find it easy to learn algebraic topology from this book. So I know people are split. There are some people who really like it. It is a nice book. It's a thick book to hold in your hand, and it's perfect for me to make like coffee table pictures of it, which I don't exactly love to do. And it's a nice book to like a nice format, like thick pages. But this is not the kind of book. But maybe it is subject. I don't know. I'd rather have like a hardcover like Springer book where they say definition, example, like one definition, 2 examples, and then theorem and and then I can work through it. But if they try to, if there's like wide pages as in Hatcher with like explanations where at the end of the page I don't feel I collected all the definitions proper, and for some reason it didn't work for me. I don't want to talk negatively about it, but it didn't work for me.
I was gonna sort of agree that the standard reference seems to be Hatcher, which like as you say in theory is like a really good book. Like I can't like really make any concrete criticism of it. I just like I think when I don't know, I think there's a sweet spot for like how much description, like the description to like definition ratio, where like in theory like the more you motivate the definition or like the more intuition you give the better, but like after a while like I just sort of want to hear the definition, and so after I think I might look back at Hatcher now and like as a sort of a supplement, which is maybe not the standard way to use it, but for like some nice images or like examples of like definitions that I already know, like retrospectively, which I might do in the future. But I went for the complete opposite of Hatcher, which was a book by J.P. May called what's it called? Concise Algebraic Topology or something.
Okay.
And this book is like, it's a Chicago book, University of Chicago, and it's short. I don't know how many pages, I don't remember, but like it's a small book to like hold, and I mean it does what it says on the tin. Like it's really concise, but it goes through like all of algebraic topology. Like he like no nonsense type of thing, like definitions,
Yeah.
theorems, like couple of exercises at the end, like a couple of examples here and there. Which
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I found that personally, maybe it's because I didn't need any motivation because I was already sort of interested. I was just like, I wanted to know what this was all about.
Yeah, I have to say, like, there's like two ways of understanding the word motivation. The Hatcher book, it gives like these pictorial examples, and it tries to make you visually see the process of how like this topology things move around, and you have the homotopies. I mean, it's not a motivation in the sense that it motivates what you actually can use it for,
Yeah.
as they say, right? It's not like a motivation in this regard. But you can be even more dry, even more technical. You just say, oh, a homotopy is this map with interval. And I don't know, you might not know this because I think it's more in the abstract, obscure NLab kind of way. But algebraic topology, you do. You often speak of this map where you have a parameter t and it goes from 0 to 1, and you have the moves between them. And then there is, you can find this on the NLab, there's like generalizations where you speak from some abstract interval space, or you even generalize away from this, and then you do not have basically like a disordered linear ordered reals section, but it's even more abstract, and like the convexity definition where you go from one point to the next, you can abstract away from this. It's kind of weird. So I am the sort of person who likes to, I make my own notes regarding the definitions, and then add two examples or so that I can say, oh, this is the definition, and here's two objects to which the definition applies. This is basically the definition is like an axiomatization that applies to this sort of object. And in this way, I have to feel I can organize myself. But if I read like these books with like Hatcher, where there's like a lot of things going on, and I actually hate it, for example, if they have a book where they make definitions in the italic somewhere in the middle of the sentence, and then you can never find it. A thing was introduced, but it's like hidden, and this annoys me really a lot. There's another example like this. Do you know this Ravi something? Like this is like a live mathematician. He does courses. I did like one online lecture series on, I think it was on algebraic topology. He has like a book out called The Rising Sea.
Is that on algebraic geometry?
Yeah. Yes.
It is. Yeah. I think I know the book you're talking about. Yeah.
So, and people like it. So, again, if mathematicians like it, I cannot really speak against it because they are more in their own field than I am. But there's this sort of romantic, Grothendieck viewpoint, and there's a lot of like very vague talk about definition versus theorem, and like massaging a problem and seeing it from a different way, blah blah blah, and like especially in algebraic geometry, I have the feeling that there's some truth to like how you can understand it and how good people like think about certain things. Oh, you have the spectrum and the ideals here, and you make some vague pictures, but people like make like this. They make a cargo cult out of this way of viewing math as this, sort of, I don't even know how to describe it, in this vague way. And The Rising Sea like has this at the start. He like, it's not about the definitions, but it's about something more vague, like some understanding. So, and I sadly I don't vibe with it because I tend to put effort into these kind of texts and get half out of it as like a Springer book where it says definition, example. You have to give the examples. You have to give examples for people to be able to learn it. Like if there's a theorem which can be reflected in some, in set 7, right? Some nice ring field even. Then it's good to have this example, and then you can write it down, and you have these 7 elements, and you say, oh, this theorem holds because this has an inverse there, blah, 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 blah. So you want the examples, but if you have a definition, a hard definition, I can write it down. I can see, oh, this is a special case of this, or this replaces a special case of this. These are 3 examples. Here's a non-commutative example. Here's a commutative examples. Here's what they have in common. Here's a compact group. Here's a non-compact group. I want this learning style, because then
Yeah.
I actually remember things. But if it's just blah blah blah, here's a picture and
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
four definitions in a paragraph, all in italic mixed somewhere. No, it's
Well, I think I watched one of your videos. I think this was like a few months ago now. And you were talking about, I think you were talking about 3 Blue 1 Brown, his YouTube videos. And
I definitely mentioned this, but I think it's even longer than my. Am I like? Is it like a ranty video where I walk in the night and?
yeah, I think it was that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how long
Yeah,
ago that
I
was.
think this is already over a year ago, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you were saying something similar to this, but about 3 Blue 1 Brown, where like it's like really nice pictures and like all of that, but like
Okay, no. You mean that the video Slop in the Limit, right? Is it possible?
I don't remember what the title was, but yeah.
I see. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't want to criticize 3 Blue 1 Brown for not giving hard definitions in a video which is visual, but I definitely like I have trash talked a few math creators before for just making safe content on things that are well understood and well known introductory stuff, and then just making a visual. It is like you cannot really criticize 3 Blue 1 Brown in that regard, that he actually puts a lot of effort in new animations that might not have been done before. So I'm not saying the world would be better without this, but I wish people would put their energy into something which is more advanced. But this is, again, I don't want to shit talk too much. I just want to I just want to express what I see. So, but why do you bring it up? You mean this is similar to?
Yeah, it's similar to what you're saying about like Hatcher and stuff. I don't know. I just got reminded of this, like the overemphasis on the visual and not enough on like the actual maths like happening.
Yeah, I guess. I
don't know. But yeah, that's the book that anyway. That's the book that I was using was JP May Concise Algebraic Topology. Which I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know if that's just what I used, and I think like for a similar reason, like because I didn't really enjoy Hatcher that much, like I just looked for something that was like pretty much the opposite, which happened to be JP May. Yeah, I guess recently I haven't read too many full like maths books. I've just been reading like PDFs, like notes and like Wikipedia pages and stuff. I guess like I've been using a few homological algebra books as like references. I think the main one that I've used is probably Rotman. I think it's just called Introduction to Homological Algebra. And I just think I haven't read it from start to finish or anything like that. But often when there's like a topic or like a theorem that I want to know about, like I can find it in his book and it's well explained typically. So yeah.
But do you need that already for your university studies at all, or?
Oh no. That's just that would just be like in my of my own interest.
I see. Sort of. Yeah, so something I would also like to do is maybe also as a video format, like have like a sort of paper reading group where and it's a little bit difficult to organize to find something for different backgrounds, but where you have like 2, 3, 4 people, and you say, hey, in this month or in this on a bi-weekly basis, 2 weeks, you read a text and then you come together and then you discuss the text, and then you invite the viewers to also read it up front and have a discussion section on it. So if you think something like that would be feasible, I'm looking out for YouTubers who could like contribute that. It's a little bit difficult to organize because people have different backgrounds, and I would like to, as I always advocate, actually reading like sort of things that are actually being done, researchy like papers. You have a text, and then you would have people with different backgrounds, but everybody should more or less be able to like grok it. I've been part in my days with reading groups about topics that were beyond me. Like, for example,
Yeah.
when I finished my PhD and I was working at this quantum computing institute department of a uni, there was like a guy who was like a really cool guy, and he was doing his PhD on operand theory, which is like very category theory heavy stuff.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
I
it.
was I was sitting there. I was I had learned category theory at this point, but this was beyond me, and I could not really contribute. I could, like, they were reading it for their research, and I was doing Python coding, and I knew the language to a degree, and I could look up some examples, but I did not know what are the results in the last 10 years in this field. Then you're too cut off from actually understanding this paper, which is sad, because I would have loved to get more out of this reading group there, but it was just beyond me. So, and this is sort of the problem, but maybe there's a way of like crafting some more online community. I mean, live community would even be better, but online community, I'm thinking of like having a YouTube culture. I say YouTube that for the reason that people can then also participate or even come to the reading group as an afterthought, and also like read along. I would love it if there was like papers on my level where somebody does like a paper every 2 weeks on YouTube, where like they don't just rant about the paper. They not just, I have read this paper, here is like a 20-minute summary, but actually like a sort of talk about the paper and think about where this is going. So if you're if you or any of my viewers like have like an idea how to craft this sort of thing, find a topic, that would be cool. Like, my topics are at the moment very like learning minded, machine learning minded, but I'm also willing to like delve into other things. So this is sort of a thought, in my YouTube curation efforts.
Well, I mean, one sort of idea that springs to mind for a topic that you might find interesting, which I don't really know anything about, but it's sort of like is in the intersection of our sort of interests. Have you heard of persistent homology?
At most the name, I don't know what it's about.
I think this is like a very this is coming from someone who basically knows like nothing. I think the idea is you look at a bunch of data points and you take a look at the shape that these actual points form as like, and then you apply like algebraic topology, like you study it, like that shape that the data points are forming with the tools of algebraic topology. And like apparently this is like now like maybe being used in like machine learning or something, type of machinery, or like I think there's some new field coming to the fore, like topological data something or other.
Yeah, I know that there are, I mean, it rings a bell. I know that there's like, equivariant so and so. There is people who try to connect this, like manifold learning probably goes in this direction as well. That sounds interesting to me. I mean, often there is the danger of getting too lost in the beautiful abstract math and losing touch with what is actually feasible, because if you are just a guy doing the algebra of these systems, but you don't even have like the hardware of doing any experiments and actually validating this, and then by the time the next architecture models comes around, is not so relevant what you did anymore. You don't want to risk getting too lost there. I mean, from an application mindset. But this is sounds cool, and to the extent that in certain mathematical approaches, there is to be something to be learned about, like the deep reality, let's say, about the data of the world. I don't know how to phrase it, but there's things like the universal approximation theorem in machine learning that you might have heard about. There's I'm actually made 2 videos on my YouTube channel. One phrasing of it is that you say, if you have, do you know how a neural net is like structured, roughly how it works?
Very, very roughly.
Okay. Well, in the end, you have like a bunch of you have these layers in which you pipe information through, and then you have weights and biases which are tuned by a minimization algorithm. And there's some old Kolmogorov theorems that say, oh, you can. I mean, a little bit like this this stone results where I say, oh, all continuous functions can be arbitrarily be approximated by polynomials in this way on the interval. You know what kind of theorems I talk about, right? You name one type of functions and you say, all type of functions in this space can be approximated to arbitrary accuracy by this class of functions. And the universal approximation theorem is such a theorem. It's like a purely mathematical theorem that says, if you have these senoid activation functions and you plug them together with this and this forms, with this and this matrix, then you can get everything, and then translate it to the neural networks that says that you can fit arbitrary functions with this neural network of this architecture. I just take this as an example, as like a pure mathematical theorem that you can see as being applied to like a machine. And this is like something really fundamental because it is just an approximation theorem like many others. It can never hurt to know about it. And I like to know about this these facts of math that are universally applicable. Maybe there are some things in the topological data applications that you talk about. What I want to avoid, and that's why I'm saying it, is like learning too much about a bad architecture, for example, which gets then made obsolete, and then you have learned something to a very specific field. If it's too much tuned to a certain thing that is only of interest for a little while, then it's not as interesting to me. I probably made myself not completely clear now, but I mean, regardless of YouTube, one doesn't have to record oneself. But if you find something super cool that you actually want to learn, and you think, hey, I would also be a person being interested in that, you can, post it to me, and we can make such experiments where I say, hey, let's meet in 3 weeks. We have both read the paper, and then we can brainstorm about it. And I invite people also, like from our audience, to participate in such experiments. I would love to see the beyond academia, the online community, and not only on Discord, where sometimes people do reading groups, to organize themselves and maybe do this sort of nice recordings. Okay, so I think we're getting closer to 2 hours. I will get into the end phase with my interview. I really enjoyed it, I have to say. I learned a little bit about you that I didn't know before. I have this question that I often ask people at the front of my 4 interviews that I did so far, which is, what would a hater say about you? How would somebody who knows you well enough but doesn't like you point to flaws of you? What would they say?
Like a hater of my YouTube channel, or just of me?
You can interpret the question as you want. I would say of you, maybe your way of thinking, your way of approaching things.
I don't know. Probably a hater of me would probably say, like, this guy, like, he learns like all of this like abstract stuff, and like he's like really into his homology and all of this, but like when it comes to actually like solving like these like problems that don't require any machinery like close to like homology, like he can't even like solve it that well. So like, what's he even doing? I
mean, that sounds very reminiscent of the thing that you said about the exam to get into Cambridge. But I mean, you got into Cambridge after all, so it cannot be that bad.
Yeah, true. But I don't know. I feel I don't know. I feel like a hater could probably point that out.
Okay.
Like, you know, he's not the fastest.
I see. So I would ignore these haters on the base that, I mean, there are some people who are really good, and sometimes you see, oh, this person is like out performing me in some way. I had that not I mean, not just in the academic field. I know I played Magic the Gathering semi-professionally. You know, we were going to tournaments and so on. I know there were some people who were just really good and better than me, despite seemingly not putting more time. We were all putting a sensible amount of time into this at this time, but there were some people who were just better in tournaments. I could never really explain why. Some people are just better. I hear often that people have the experience in academia that, oh, there's somebody, they're just good. And it almost feels frustrating and unfair in a way. But I have the feeling this is sort of a universal experience. Like, even if you hear like top mathematicians in interviews, you hear regularly that they say, oh, you know, this other guy was so good, and I felt inferior in some way. I think this is actually, I think we're deluding ourselves. Like, I think everybody has this kind of thing. And, you know, I don't know to what extent it is cope, because there are people who are much better in certain things. But I usually, you know, I'm fairly nihilistic. I tend to think, okay, you can be good in these calculation things, but what is the point? What is the point of being good at IMO? Like, nobody says, oh, this guy got a IMO silver medal. I mean, people say, wow, he got an IMO silver medal, but only to reflect on the fact that, oh, he's good at what this silver medal or this challenge asked from him, but it does not reflect on anything else. Like, I'm impressed by people who, like, impressed is the wrong word. I'm not impressed by anybody, really, to be honest. I'm enamored with people who have read a lot of history books, and you can go to them and ask them, and they say, you know, here in 13th century Persia, this happened. And I'm like, hey, cool, there's a person who knows their shit. They know about things. This is an interesting thing that interests me, and they are like a repository of this information. And maybe they're sympathetic, maybe they are handsome. It's chill to sit with them in a cafe and listen. Or maybe he gives me an aha moment about algebraic topology. This is what I enjoy, the people I enjoy. I have never met somebody who is like, oh, I'm good at IMO type challenges. Do you want to talk with me about the way I solve this polynomial equations very fast? I'm like, I don't have anything from this. So yeah, I would say, I mean, this is not something one should necessarily even strive to get good at. And regarding this, you know, oh, he talks about this abstract thing, but he's not good at this and that. I had that myself, that I read, like, you know, online, where people talk about you and with each other, they talk with each other about you. I had this a couple of times where I see, oh, you know, oh, there's this guy who were making a video about my field. Like, maybe it is higher statistics, maybe it's differential equations, maybe it's topology, troposphere. And they were like saying, oh, this guy actually doesn't, you know, he's not an expert in troposphere. He doesn't use it in his academic life. He just wants to know foundations. Why does he even make a video about it? Blah blah blah. And you know, and this comes sometimes across to some people as, you want to like boast, or, you know, I know so many things. I make a video about this and this and that, and then people get sort of cranky. And as you say, this is really how you can get some haters, because they feel like, why does this guy who is not an expert actually make a video about this? And yeah, I think this happens naturally. People react this way. My approach to this, if I see this, I tend to like point it out and say, you know, okay, I never claimed that I'm an expert there. I can have a reasonable conversation with you. If you ask questions to people who are experts, then often they like you actually more. They're like, oh wow, here's here's a situation where I can actually apply my knowledge, or explain from up down to somebody else. So yeah, with this sort of haters, I think firstly there's no good reason that they are haters for this, and usually, unless they're really assholes, you can still engage with them and join with them. Like, I have like on one in several places online. I have like some NFT PFP, not everywhere, but in some places. And there's a lot of people who get like they're angry at you without even knowing you. They're like, why does this guy have an NFT as his profile picture? He must be like an idiot or an asshole or whatever, because like they have a really a bias there. And to some extent I agree. Like I'm very open about having made videos about crypto, these kind of things, but there's a lot of people who really just hate crypto and hate everybody who has anything to do with it. And I get this often, like I didn't read your post, but I don't have to because you have this profile pic. And I'm like, and then I usually, my approach is always like to start talking nicely with them, and then forcing them to see, oh, there's actually another normal person on the other side of this conversation, and overcome their bias a little bit in this regard. Okay. Sorry, this was another rant from my side. If you have anything to reflect on that, please feel free to interrupt there, right? And
I mean, I guess the point of like oh, sorry, I'm looking to the side again. Of like why is he making videos on this when he's not an expert? I guess that might be another thing that a hater would say about me. And like to that I sort of respond that I mean I just sort of I put my videos out there because I find it interesting, and like it also helps me out. So I mean, if I find it interesting, I naturally sort of like telling other people about interesting things. So like and
you connect to other people like here, right? So it works.
So I'm not claiming to like I'm not claiming that if you watch my topology series, you're gonna come out ready to like solve research problems in topology. Like I just found it interesting at the time, and I thought maybe someone else would find this helpful, so I put it out there. But that was an interesting point.
Okay. Thanks a lot for this conversation. I will add, I'm a hater of the fact that you write far too small on the whiteboard, and I press you. I mean it seriously. If you want to get more viewers, you have to. I make low effort videos. Like I barely cut my videos, and I try to do one takes. I don't prepare much for my. I prepare for my standalone videos, but I could always put in more work. So I'm not the person to talk. But if you want to actually like teach people things, then you have to find a way to do it differently. Like maybe you don't want to, maybe you just want to enjoy yourself standing in front of the whiteboard and talk about things, which works. But as similar to as what the situation we had here, if you like go away from the microphone all the time and you stand in front of a whiteboard and the audio is not consistent, then I know from my personal experience that I am not eager to watch somebody where I listen to it, and it's sadly a certain production value is necessary to get an audience unless you're like a pretty girl on Instagram, right? But that's not the audience you want anyway. So this is my hater comment to you. Okay. All right. And I will check back at you. We will sit it out for 12 months unless we do maybe something like a collaboration or paper video. And then you will also press me on seeing what is the factor by which my dead hang has improved. Okay, so I wish you also good luck with all your Cambridge studies. I think it's good to actually learn about things while you do not have to learn for the tests. In my experience, usually when I found a topic I found interesting and I learned upfront, like for example, in my case, I learned a lot of quantum mechanics during my studies before I actually had to learn it in the lecture, and this gave me a great like head start, because then I could sit in a lecture and just listen and actually ask questions. I'm one of the guys in the first row who ask questions. So professor, I don't try to be too annoying, but having had a background is a good strategy to actually understand the things better than the other people. But I also have no doubt. I know that it needs some discipline to learn things that are boring to oneself, but you will do fine. So with that, thanks again. Subscribe to Gregorius Mouse and see you later.
Thank you. All right.